Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our webinar this afternoon, looking at Everyone Can Create Music from us, the Greenwich Apple Regional Training Centre. So just a bit of an introduction. We are going to look a little bit at what Everyone Can Create is. We've got some tasks that we're going to model for you, and if you've got an iPad on you, you can have a little go at. Then there's some suggestions on how you could take this further in the classroom and some next steps after that. But first of all, a few introductions. So this is me on the left. You may notice the same wonderful balding forehead. There we go. So I'm Tim Lings. I'm Director of Digital Learning here at Heronsgate Primary School. And I'm joined by Ralph. You don't know who he is.
Yeah, Ralph Corrish, Year 5 teacher here at Heronsgate and helping Tim on all things Apple related here at Heronsgate.
And joined as well by...
Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm a Year 2 teacher here at Heronsgate and part of the computing team too.
Fantastic. So we are the Greenwich Apple Regional Training Centre based here at Heronsgate Primary School. And if you want to, you can follow us on Twitter at RTC Greenwich for updates. We also have a YouTube channel where you can watch all manner of pre-recorded sessions. So Apple Regional Training Centres deliver courses to build the skills and confidence of educators to use Apple technology inside and outside the classroom. We are a community who share best practices and inspire excellence through teaching with Apple technology. So let me just give you a bit of a recap or an instruction on what Everyone Can Create is. It is a curriculum resource that Apple has put together. There are 4 different books that they have made, looking at photos, drawing, music, and video. And the idea is that these are important creativity skills, but often teachers might not know the details of those particular disciplines and kind of the tips and tricks and ways to kind of find your way into that. So, and these books are great because they introduce those skills right from the beginning. So we're looking at music, but we've also done some videos on video where we looked at clips, the drawing app, so the ways that you can use drawing or even your finger on an iPad, and photos, how you can take great photos on your iPad. What's also great is that there is an accompanying teacher guide that has got lots of ways that you can integrate those ideas into lessons, and then one with a focus on early learners that rethinks some of the tasks, how it would help with the very young. So here is an example of the photos book. So there's examples there of how you could take photos and how you can think about how to take it a bit differently. Or we've got drawing. So they're doodling away. Video, using the Clips app as a way to kind of get started with that. And then in music, looking at podcasts as the first activity. And here's just an example of that teacher guide. So it goes through all the different activities that are in the book, but then suggests ways that you could be integrated into different subjects, such as English, maths, the humanities, but also science and coding. So there's some examples, different integration ideas, and then the early learner guide looks a bit like this. So it's just got similar activities, but ones that are really catered for the 0 to 5 or under 5s. So these are really fantastic resources. You can spend a lot of time looking through them. That's what we're going to be doing today. So all of this is helping lead your learners and you as the teachers through that creative process to help increase engagement in the class, as well as increase interest in the arts as well. If you received an email from this course, you should have a link to a Pages document that you can use to help yourself through the workshop, perhaps taking notes or even uploading examples of what you have created today. And this is an important link that I'm just going to share with you in a sec in the chat. This is the digital book for today on the Apple Bookstore, which I will post in the chat in just a second, but this is what we're going to be looking at. So I'm going to copy it into the chat. If you open up the chat, boom, there we go. So it's in the chat if you want to click on that, and then you can open up the book there. But maybe if I introduce the book to you now. But before we do that, we're going to do a little poll to see, to pique your interest. And the focus of the Everyone Can Create today in music is to do with podcasting. Now, I was wondering what your experience of making podcasts in the classroom is. So I've got a little poll that should appear on your screen. And the questions are, what is your experience of making podcasts in the classroom? Is it 1, what's a podcast? 2, I've recorded some form of audio in my classroom in the past. Maybe it's 3, we've tried putting together an audio piece in my class. 4, I've had some success in making podcasts. Or is it 5, my class has published podcasts on Apple Podcasts? So just a few seconds here. Here we go. Okay, so I think we're just going to publish share the results. So 100% have said they've recorded some kind of audio in the classroom in the past, but no one here is a published podcast artist. That's fine, but maybe after today it might inspire you in the classroom. So for this session, you'll need GarageBand on your iPad. Now, if you're using an iPad here to join this Zoom call, you can actually just press the home button, launch GarageBand, and do the activity while staying on the call, and then you can come back and join us if you would like to. And the focus of today with audio is exploring how recording audio has an incredible power to enable pupil voice and individual expression. So it allows children to express their ideas verbally, and you can hear what they've got to say. So I'm just going to show you this Everyone Can Create music book, and we're going to look at the first chapter, recording a podcast. So here I go. On my iPad here, I go to the Books app, and I think I'm already in a book. So I'm just going to tap on the screen, tap that little back arrow there. Here I have got all of the Everyone Can Create books. You can search for them in the library, but I've got them pre-downloaded. And I'm going to go to Everyone Can Create Music. Let's see where it takes us. Now, when you're in a book, if you pinch out like that, you can then go between the kind of sections. So the overview explains a little bit about what's going on, introduction to how it works with music, and then in chapter 1, recording a podcast. So this is a great way to kind of get used to how GarageBand works, some of the tools, some of the tips and tricks, so that you might then want to take it further with creating music. But this is a good kind of low barrier to entry sort of task, because you can record your voice. That's very straightforward. And then you can start adding sound effects, music, and learn those editing skills to create that sound. So we're in a second going to hand over to Mr. Barnshaw, who's going to have a look at activity 1, recording your voice. So I'm going to hand over now, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Let's just get my screen shared here. Super. So I'm going to be having a go at activity 1, which is very basics, recording my voice and doing a little bit of editing. And I'm going to have a go at answering the question, what do you love about music? And I'm going to go through these first 3 steps initially. So some of the screens you'll see will be like this, just going through some of these steps. And depending on which version of GarageBand you have, you may be greeted with this page when you open the app, or a different page which looks a little more like this, but I'll talk us through that when we get to that point. So let's get GarageBand opened here. Excellent. So I'm going to click on the plus with the microphone at the top here, which is going to start up a new voice recording. So first, I need to set the stage. The button at the top, the little triangle, this is the metronome. We don't need the metronome because I'm just recording my voice. So let's turn it off. Now I need to click on the plus here and go to section A and put this to automatic. There we go. Press the plus again to close it. And the little toggle here on the left-hand side will control the volume. I'm just going to leave it in the middle for now. So let's just check back here. I've done those first 3 steps. Fantastic. So place the iPad and microphone close to your mouth and speak in a natural voice. Excellent. And I'm going to click the record button and then have a go at answering that question, what I love about music. So when we click on the record button, it's going to give me a little countdown, and then after the countdown's finished, I'll be ready to go. What do I love about music? I love about music, it takes my mind off things, it helps me to relax, and I can often imagine myself somewhere else. Let's just stop that there. So I've recorded that piece. Let's just flick back to the book here and have a look at step number 5. So I can press play to listen to my recording. I can press the undo button there to delete it and try again. So let's do step 5. Let's have a go at that. Let's first play my audio I've just recorded here. What do I love about music? I love about music, it takes my mind off things, it helps me to relax, and I can often imagine myself somewhere else. Let's just stop that for a moment. So I am going to undo that and do that again. So I was a little bit stuttery. I'm not that pleased with that version. So let's have another go. So I've got rid of that, and let's have another go. So What do I love about music? I love that music can help me relax. It helps me to take my mind off things, and I can often imagine I'm somewhere else. Okay, let's play that. What do I love about music? I love that music can help me relax. It helps me to take my mind off things, and I can often imagine I'm somewhere else. Great, that was much better. Let's check back to the book here. Let's have a look. Number 6. So add some voice effects. You can use controls in GarageBand to change the sound of your voice even after you've recorded it. So there's some steps there to follow. Tapping the studio button, tapping on the microphone, and then going to vocals and the narrator. Let's see what that does to our audio clip here. So studio, microphone, vocals is there, and narrator is there. Let's press done. Let's see what that's done to our audio clip here. What do I love about music? I love that music can help me relax. It helps me to take my mind off things, and I can often imagine I'm somewhere else. Great. So that has made our audio clip a lot clearer. I really like that what that's done with that clip. Okay, so now step 7, we can tap the tracks button and we'll see our recording. And then we can tap on the My Songs button, and then we can eventually rename our project. So let's go back to here. Tap on the tracks button at the top here, and that shows us our audio recording. And let's tap on the top left here, the little page. There we go. Select. Oh, forgive me. Let's check back here. Touch and hold the image of your song, then tap rename. Excellent. So let's tap and hold, and then rename. And I'm going to say what I love about music. Excellent. Let's just go back to the book here and see if they were all the steps. They certainly were. So that was a very, very quick introduction to how to record some audio, some voice audio on GarageBand. And I think I can hand it back now to Mr. Lings.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm just going to override your screen share there. Here we go. Oh. Is it going to appear? No. Right, let me just share that again. Share screen. Boom. Okay, so we've got it working now. Wonderful. Fantastic. So there we've had a look at how to record your voice. And that's what we'd like you to do now. So you're going to follow what Andrew did there. So you're going to, if you've got everyone can create a book open with you, you can go to activity 1 from chapter 1. But if you just create a voice recording to answer the question, what do you love about music? And your recording should last 10 to 20 seconds. So it doesn't need to be this long, epic, multi-hour podcast, but that should be fine. And you've got about 3 minutes to give that a go. I'm going to put a little timer on the screen. And when the time is up, you can rejoin us. Are we ready? So off you go. Super. Okay, I'm now going to hand over to Mr. Korish, who's going to take us through a second task that we can do. So stop my share and then you can have the screen.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. So just going to try and share my screen now. And then we'll have a quick look at the next activity. Mr. Lings, can you just tell me for sure we can see it?
Yeah, it's all good.
Perfect. Good. So we're just following on basically from what Andrew just did, and we're going to then take that bit of speech and we're just going to enhance it with some Apple loops or some music in some way, some kind of sound in the background to enhance what we've done. And we're going to do that through Apple Loops, particularly looking at how you can download additional Apple Loops and then try and get something to match what you want. So as you can see on the first bit, it's about opening the project that you built in Activity 1. I've done something similar to Andrew, I just already recorded something, but sort of similar about welcoming and why I like music. And then we're going to have a little look at how to download additional Apple Loops that are all free, a part of GarageBand, and how we can then get them into the start of our very own podcast. So if I just go on to GarageBand there, you can see I've already recorded a couple of bits of speech, and you can see if I just quickly play it, and just so we can check it, make sure it works. Welcome to today's Greenwich Apple RTC. Lovely, very atmospheric, very atmospheric. So if you have a look up here, you can see a few things at the top. You can see the settings wheel, you can see the question mark, and next to those is the Apple Loops button. It's the Apple Loops button. And if I press that there, you can see quite clearly we've got lots of different things here. Now you could, if you just wanted to use the music feature already included in GarageBand, you've got all sorts of instruments you can add. You've got all sorts of genres which you could focus through. And you've got descriptors as well. But it says here, get more Apple Loops. Get more Apple Loops. And so here is a whole sound library that you can use to try and create the mood, match the mood with the podcast that you're trying to create. In year 5, we've been looking at podcasts a bit recently, and we sort of had a little look to try and find the podcast that would work for the podcast that my children have created. Now on the Apple book, it talks about getting Toybox. So as you can see there, Toybox already been downloaded. But if I just pick another one, just so you can see, if I go with Vision and Verse, and you can press the Get button there, and it will slowly start downloading it. And once you've done that, then once it's downloaded, you press Done, and it is then saved already on there. And we have a quick go back to my book, and then you can see once I've done that, I've pressed Done, gone through it, and we are ready to go. Now, it says audition some loops. So now we just want to see, right, which ones work for what we want. We can tap the play button to sort of start the voice recording. We've done that. And we can tap the loop browser button to pick which ones we want. And what we're going to do is we're going to enter the word atmospheres, which comes from the Toybox collection that we've just downloaded. And we're going to pick a few and preview them and just see what works. Just see what works. So let's have a little look. We've got all sorts of ones that we can choose. So I'm going to go back up there, and I'm going to search Apple Loops, and I'm going to type atmospheres. And press enter. And you can see those ones that were just popped up there on what we were looking at are here. So let's have a little play. Now, if I tap it again, that stops. Now, I might think that that was a bit too loud. I was sort of a little bit intimidating. If you look at the bottom here, you can just adjust the volume while you're listening to them. I'm going to make that a bit shorter, and I'm going to try a couple of others. So let's have a little listen. Grasslands there. The jungle sounding quite similar to grasslands, if truth be told. And then the ocean. I think the ocean sounds the most atmospheric. So I'm just going to put that back to the start there, and I'm going to go there, atmospheres, enter, and I'm going to go with my ocean. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it in. Just going to drag it in there. Atmosphere, ocean. And so now when I press play, I can listen and just see if it works. Welcome to today's Greenwich Apple RTC. Today, I'm not sure quite how perfect it is, but you can see there that you can try and find the right atmosphere for you. You can also have some introductory music maybe to get you in and to lead you out. Now, with that atmosphere ocean, I would like it to be playing all the way through. And what at the moment you can see, it's going to stop about halfway through my speech. So if I tap on it, I can move it along. Or if I go on that yellow bit, I could try and extend it. But in this case, that's as long as it goes. But what I can do, if I tap on it, is I can press loop. I can press loop on it, because that basically just means it makes it longer and bigger, and it just loops itself over and over until for as long as you need it. And if I tap on it again, I can now make it short, and I can match it to the length of what I want. I'm just going to match it to the length of my speech. So if I now go back to the beginning, actually, I'm going to skip a little bit on so we can go
with it. Now, what do I love about music? Well, I love the...
Perfect. Excellent. So that is now my atmospheres and my sounds are now created in the background of my voice. If I wanted to, if I thought, you know what, that atmosphere actually wasn't quite loud enough, I can play on my levels there and I can increase and decrease there. And if I quickly go back to the book, let's just check and see if how we're getting on and see what we've managed to achieve. So we've added the loop to our recording. It automatically creates it as a new track into your project. And then we've dragged the loop in and we have done that. Then we've repeated the loop to make it longer, to make it fit with how we need it. We've reviewed our entire project and I've pressed stop and I'm happy. And if I just, as Andrew did, if I then just go back, it will then save ready to go. I can save it as Andrew did and rename it, but it saves now and it's ready to go. So I've added the loops in just to remind you. If I thought, do you know what, I'm going to move these a little bit, and I'm going to move that a little bit, and I'm going to move this a little bit, and I wanted to create some kind of introductory music. Then we've still got all the other Apple loops to go, which I could add. I don't have to have atmospheres. I can pick any of the others. I could think, do you know what, I might want to just introduce a bit of piano. Then that sounds like very podcasty start. So I'm going to drag that in onto a new track. And you can see here it's looped here. I'm not going to want that all the way through, but I'm just going to have it twice. And then I can move these along, ready to go. And so if we just play it one more time and just see, and we're just starting to get the semblance now of us creating a podcast. Let's just quickly have a listen.
Welcome to today's Greenwich Apple RTC.
I'm not sure how long I could listen to my own voice with the sound of the sea in the background, but Mr. Lings, I believe we are all sorted on that front. We're ready to go. Our podcast is starting to take shape.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Do you want to just unshare your screen and then I can go from there? Right, super. So we've now got time for a bit of practice from yourselves. So if you've got the book, you can go to activity from chapter 1. So see if you can add some loops to enhance your voice recording. So another 3 minutes starting now. Okay, wonderful. So next up, third activity, we're just going to have a look at how you can enhance your recording further. So the way this works, if we go on the book, we can go to we've done activity 1, 2, on activity 3, which is all about editing your interview. Now, what's quite nice about here is they give you a downloadable project that has some pre-recorded audio for you to edit. Here we go. So if you know, it says here, download and open the project. So if I tap the download button, it will open it up in Safari, which will then ask you to download it. I'm going to download it, and then I'm going to go here, and you can see it's downloaded. If I tap on that, it then unzips it, and I can just open it up. And here I've got some lovely pre-recorded audio.
About music.
I love how music captures emotion.
So it's a slightly more slick 2-person podcast there. Lovely. Listen to that. Okay, maybe let's go.
I preferred Andrew's.
Well, no disrespect to you both. Okay, so they're suggesting now that you can do some splits. So you can chunk your recorded audio into different regions. So that little block there, we can split it up. And it's suggesting you play and you stop it, the playhead right at the end of the question. And then we're going to split it. And then, yeah, let me show you that. So this is quite handy. So I'll go to GarageBand here. I'm going to go here. So I start from the beginning.
What do you love about music?
So I've had the question. I'm going to tap on this thing. Then I'm going to tap split. And then a little scissor icon appears. This is quite nice. And I can just swipe down and it chops it up. So now I have 2 blocks. Look at that. Fantastic. So it then says I can add a new track. So this will let you put each voice on its own track. That will be quite handy. So there's something we can do with that. So the way we do that is I'm just going to tap on the track here where the microphone is, and I can duplicate it. So it doesn't duplicate the content of the track, it just duplicates the type of track. So here we've got just a voice, and then I can tap and I can just drag it down. So we've got the narrator on one and the answer on another, which is handy. And then it suggests you can trim the silences. So this could be good just to see whether it's a bit too long, a bit too short, and just kind of make a bit more sense. Let's go from the beginning.
What do you love about music?
So already you can hear there's a bit of silence at the beginning and end of that question. I'm just going to pinch to really zoom in here. If I tap on it, I can just, oh, hello, that's just giving away the next thing. So I've tapped on it and I drag the little bar, oh, sorry, the little handles.
What do you love about music?
I love.
I mean, there's a lot of, there we go. So I can just trim that. So I'm just, oh, hello, I've just got the audio that I need. I can do a bit of trimming, and I can perhaps even change the distance between them.
What do you love about music?
I love how music captures emotion. It allows you to express and
So maybe it was just need to be a bit more punchy there. Get rid of some of that question. Now it's suggesting that you can adjust the volume. So this is quite useful. If you slide in on the left, you can control the volume on each track. You can also press on the mute button, which will stop the sound on one track, or the solo button, which will just play that track. So now if you ever come across a mixing desk and you're wondering what on earth does solo and mute do, now you know. So I can slide out here and you can see I get all kinds of magical extra controls. So if I pressed, I can change the volume, so I can make the narrator really loud and this one really quiet.
What do you love about music?
I love how music captures.
It's not so great. They're quite well balanced, so there's not a lot we can do there. But I can try, so I could just solo this track, so it will just play the question.
What do you love about music?
It's useful when you're trying to really fine-tune the sounds on a particular one, or I can mute a track. Which when you've got two tracks, it basically does very similar things. But if you've got a whole load of tracks, muting just stops one track and soloing stops all the tracks apart from that one. And there we go. And you can just generally adjust to your heart's content. And the last thing I want to show you is how you can convert your amazing project into something that you could share. So I'm going to press my songs button, maybe rename it as my amazing podcast. My amazing podcast. I'm going to press and hold, and then I get some options including share. So when you share it, you can share it as a song, ringtone, or project. So a project lets you share it as a GarageBand file that you can edit somewhere else, but song kind of flattens it all down just to an audio file. You can pick the quality. You can even add a little cover image, put the artist info, but I'm going to leave it at that. And then you get all kinds of sharing options. You could email it, you could save it to your files, you could airdrop it, all these kinds of things. And that's what you would do with your podcast. So again, I'm going to give you a few minutes just to have another try at editing and trimming the project you already have, or if you've got the book, you can download that demo version as well if you would like. So see you in a few minutes. Brilliant. Okay, so why does all this matter? Why do podcasting in the classroom? So recording vocal tracks creates a risk-free environment for students to practice audience awareness and communicate ideas better through inflection and tone. And the fact that you are using it in GarageBand lets you practice that. So you can record it, listen back. Wow, I didn't quite communicate that right. You can try again rather than having to do perhaps higher stakes if you're presenting to a whole class. And adding live loops makes it easy for students to create original recordings by arranging clips. So it allows for that creativity to make something completely new in the way it is done. So if you wanted to go away from here and have a try at something in the classroom, we suggest at the end of chapter 1 of the guide, there is the challenge of making a short podcast. So if I just show you that. So if you want to give this a go, there's a suggestion here of how you could plan, record, and edit a short audio story or interview.
Sometimes I imagine where I would live if I could live anywhere in the world.
It's a bit stuttery today, but that's a great thing. You could have a try. And look, you can see there they've recorded the audio, but then added a whole range of different sound effects and backgrounds to really create something quite unique. I'm just going to show you some of the integration ideas in the teacher guide. So if we turn to page 119, you can see things like this. So there's some suggestions here is that you could use it in maths to create a podcast about solving a maths problem you might encounter in an everyday situation. So it's a bit like just teaching your partner how you solve the problem, but you could use GarageBand to just put that together to explain that instruction. Maybe you could set up a little community book club podcast. So you could pick a book and then interview others to discuss the topics, or there's a suggestion for history and social studies. So you could interview a historical figure. Again, these might be an activity that you might do in class with kind of hot seating someone, but actually it'd be really interesting to record that and then enhance it with what else is offered by GarageBand. And here's some suggestions for coding. So you could debugging techniques. So create a podcast about strategies for debugging code. So step through all the different things that you might do when it goes wrong. So again, it's that same idea of teaching someone else what you're doing. And then we can look at the teacher guide and for early learners. So we're just going to have a little look at that. So go to my books app. This time I'm going to open up this Everyone Can Create Teacher Guide for Early Learners. And I was after page number 127. Here we go. Let's have a go. Which is where I am already. So this the teacher guide for early learners, it goes through all of the different disciplines and has got 3 or 4 different ways that these can be used in early learners. So with music, it's suggesting you've got rhythm and beats, chords and songs, and recording your voice. And then at the end, you've got these integration ideas where they suggest ways that you could do those activities to integrate it into early learning. So for example, drumming a pattern. So you can use the smart drummer to create different patterns, or create a beat to go along with a simple maths problem like 1 + 1 = 2, like my rapping there. You could, a sound memory game, that's quite nice. So you could put all the sounds in using the smart drums and see if they can work out what they are. It goes through here. Chords and songs, or recording your voice. Again, these are more relevant to what we'd be doing in podcasting. So reading fluency and expression, so using that audio recorder to record your favorite poem or nursery rhyme, and then adding loops to add music to match the mood of the poem. So that could be something that you do as a teacher or something that you do with your students. So if you'd like, you could upload what you've done into your workbook. And we've got one more session looking at Everyone Can Create, and this is after Christmas on the 13th of January. At 4 p.m. This is a chance for us to have a bit of a deeper dive into the teacher guide and exploring some of the activities and tasks in there. But thank you very much for joining us today. We're going to be posting this recording of this onto YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it there. And thank you again for joining us. And we hope to see you at a future Greenwich RTC event. So thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.